Well, hello there, everyone. I know I've been quiet for a little while, but I've been both hard at work putting together as much for how I want all my future content to go, and being a complete lazy bastard playing video games and losing all track of time. Yeah, sorry about that last part. I think I need Ritalin or something to concentrate properly. Regardless, I hope everyone is enjoying their time with the anniversary event going on. I've definitely been enjoying myself with everything, and I do think this is a very fitting end to the first year of the game. That said, I'm here to show you all my progress so far in Sephi's free-to-play challenge he put out to all the Nikke content creators out there. This is the first 5 hours of the challenge that I have done so far. I hope you enjoy my progress. And don't worry, I'm gonna stop being such a lazy asshole and get back to the video grind as well. Well, to start off with, let me remind you all of the rules that are required of the challenge. To start, I can't spend a single dime on this account. Should be obvious from the title of the challenge, but hey, I've met some dense fucking people in my life that needed a repeat multiple times of the obvious. Secondly, I can't do any rerolls for a character that I want for the first SSR. That is free in the game. I'm totally fine with this, since I didn't know that was a thing until I was well into the game when I first started. Add Me was my first SSR on my main account, by the way. I didn't mind it and just moved on because I wanted to play the game. Sorry for going on a tangent there, people. Moving on, the third rule is that everyone that was invited to this challenge has to be in the same union with each other. Finally, I have to use at least one Nikke from the counter squad. This means that I have to use either Rappi, Anisi, or Neon as my one permanent member. I'm not making it a surprise though. I already was going to play Anise from the get-go once I saw that rule. So, starting everything off after I dealt with skipping over the depression of Marion's death again, I could finally get my first SSR. I was hoping for someone that I usually main like Pepper. But oh no, I get shafted right out the gate with Julia. I had her early on in my main account, so I'm not entirely upset by this. But come on already. I really wanted Pepper by my side for this right out the gate. Right after I was done with that, I went into the cash shop and snagged up every free item that I could get my hands on. The idea here is to try and hoard as much resources that I can get at the very beginning in order to spread load it all for sustainable growth over time. It pays to know how to use everything beforehand, and don't worry, I'm still putting together my own teaching series to help out people here in the world of Nikke. If anything, this whole challenge will help put things back into perspective from being at the bottom of the barrel all over again. Didn't have too much to work with right out the gate, but it will do as far as starting off in the game. The fortunate thing of all this is that every chapter in the story mode was nerfed on the anniversary release. This means that having to actually put together a good team comp isn't really necessary, especially early on. All I need is for these ladies to have the strength to just brute force every fight in the beginning, since there's not too much to worry about in the way of strategy or planning until I get to around chapter 16. One good thing about my first pull was that it actually gave me all the dupes that I needed for Anise. That's not a huge accomplishment, of course, but I was happy to have that out of the way immediately, instead of having to wait for a few pulls to get what was needed. One of the earliest things that unlocks for you is the simulation room. For me, this is a blessing, as I wanted to ensure that I get this opened up as fast as possible. I know most people normally hate having to deal with the simulation room, but since I'm not buying my way into high skills in the beginning, I needed this opened up as soon as humanly possible. I want to believe that most people hate doing this, mostly because it's a tedious piece of content that you have to do in order to gain materials that you need for skill growth. For me, though, I don't mind the grind. Given that I am just trying to blitz content on the back end of the challenge, if I can grind out materials easy enough in the beginning, then I can feel safer later with everything. Unfortunately, trying to run level 1 characters in the simulation room can only get me so far. Still, it was good to know that I went to the last fight of the first gauntlet of the simulation room. This told me that it wouldn't require much in terms of leveling up my girls in order to complete the entire amount of the first whole section of the simulation room. I was pleasantly surprised by how much work a level 1 character can put in. These ladies took down the first EX stage that showed up, was able to push through Chapter 2 without much worry, and even take down the boss to put us into Chapter 3. Not bad for not having to use a single resource for boosting yet. Also, I was reminded of this scene again when going through this chapter, and I have to ask, were Nikke built with functioning digestive systems? I know their bodies are supposed to mimic being a human as much as possible, but you're going to tell me that someone took the time to program a farting subroutine into their system. Whatever the case, maybe they should look into installing those little Febreze plug-in scent things so that they let out little poots that smell like lavender or tropic breeze. Shortly after wrapping up Chapter 2, I was able to finally get what I was waiting for when I returned to the main screen. The anniversary not only gives you a free Snow White to use, but also 10 free special tickets to use. This was my time to hopefully get something to make up for the Julia pull that I got earlier. I didn't waste much time after that, just collecting some things that I unlocked here and there from completing Chapter 2 before heading back into the recruit section to use my 10 tickets. I was over the moon seeing that gold flash come on the screen, and even more excited that I pulled Red Hood off that batch. I'm now in business, boys and girls. 2 pilgrims that can both enhance and carry teams is a godsend for this challenge. Not only that, but I've personally fallen in love with the Red Hood character. Her overall design is right up my alley in terms of what I like. Not to mention, she's rocking my favorite colors. Slap on the fact that she's one of those old soul in a new world kind of characters that just takes life in stride, and I'm sold. After making it through some of Chapter 3 without still using any upgrade material, I finally took a loss. Before I started using any materials to begin upgrading my ladies, I went back into the recruit section to see if I could pull any other ladies beforehand. Good thing I did, because I was hit with a fake-out pull and brought home Maiden. I was starting to laugh a bit, because, once again, like with Julia, Maiden was one of my first pulls in the game as well. Before I got Pepper, I thought I was going to be a Maiden main, but ultimately Pepper won me over the moment I did her Bond story. I also popped a couple of molds that I had after collecting everything and got sweet little baby Angel Ann from it, although I do wish I had got some actual SSRs instead. Still though, little Ann is a force to be reckoned with in her own right, and I was happy enough to have her as my Burst 1 moving forward. After upgrading my girls a little bit and taking them back into Chapter 3 and into the Tribe Tower when it unlocked, I was finally able to reach Commander level 10 and unlocked the ability to join a union. I sent Seth Fee the request to join the union, although at the time of writing this video, he hasn't let me in yet.
Let me in! Let me in!
Really though, I don't want this video to drag on too long, so let's round up the rest. I ended up doing a lot more resource gathering throughout all the easy wins and anniversary stuff. Not to mention that I also utilized as many active CD key passcodes that were still active to help boost my resources. I went back into the simulation room and completed everything that was unlocked for me at this time. I attempted only one run at my current strength of interception, but this was more of a test than anything. I am saving my last 2 runs on it for later, so I can possibly do better and get better rewards. Finally, I used the Red Ash event to collect some more materials and was able to get enough gems and tickets to do some pulls. I ended up getting Rupee and another copy of Maiden amongst these pulls. While I am not sad at all to put a star on Maiden, I don't think I have enough time within 2 weeks to actually break the 160 wall. Still though, you never know. It'd be funny if I managed to do that. Speaking of which, I did also unlock the Synchro device as well. This is crucial for my remaining growth in the game and will dictate how I go forward with things. I left off at the start of Chapter 5 as I hit 5 hours completed in this challenge. So, there you have it, people. My first 5 hours of the free-to-play challenge. I'll post up videos as progress is made, as I don't believe that everyone wants to see a constant collection video of what I am doing all the time. Once I make significant progress, I'll post up about it so everyone can follow along with me. Until then, though, I hope that you all enjoy yourself during this anniversary event, and that the next year of Nikke is just as great as this first one was.